Welcome back. Now we've shared with you some ways that you can beat back this ego, you can make the separation from it and begin to cut through some of the illusions in your life. The biggest one being this ego talking to you and you thinking that you are it. But there's many, many illusions that we have. And Zen is about understanding absolute truth. And to do that, we have to cut through old illusions. We have to get rid of them. Remember I said REBT is about deprogramming, getting rid of the old negative false beliefs and habits, and then reprogram the positive ones? Zen is the same way. So we have to cut through the old illusions, realize they're not true, and then learn the truth about reality, about the way of things, the nature of things, and move forward in our lives more intelligent, more awake, more aware. So meditation is the sword which we use to cut through things. There was a great analogy about this. There was a huge Gideon knot, and I forget who had the sword at the time. I think it was Alexander the Great in the story. And people were trying to figure out how to get this convoluted Gordian knot apart. It was like an impossible knot to untangle, and people tried and tried and tried. And Alexander the Great said, "I'll get through this knot. I'll untangle this." And he whipped out his sword, held it over his head, and cut right through the knot. A novel solution, but the knot fell right apart. It fell to pieces, and the problem was solved. Meditation is that type of sword. Sometimes we can't just untangle everything. We need to just cut clean through it. And this will help get you through it fast, simple, and easy. It's the best technique you can use. So let's explore it. Now, here are some ways you can use meditation in different ways, including cutting through the knots in your mind. One is simply to create serenity. What is meditation? A lot of people are confused about meditation. It's simply a deep state of relaxation in which you take time to reflect. It's a time when you calm down the thinking, which is just chatter, 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 and get it to one single, simple stream of thought so that you can actually have some clarity. That's all meditation is. There's no complication to it. When you get into that state, not only do you get the benefits of serenity and relaxation and health and all those different things, you begin to tap into inner wisdom. Without so much chattering, you, the real you, can actually come to the surface above the chatter. We used to talk about the negative critic as this loud, booming voice. You're terrible and you suck and blah, 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 blah. And there's this little whisper voice says, no, no, Paul, you're a good guy. I love you. I know you do good things. I know you care about people. But you couldn't hear that little whisper underneath this booming voice. So once you get rid of the loud negative voices, once you calm your mind down, you can hear the light voice of inner wisdom inside you, giving you very simple, very profound solutions to things. So that's a great technique. You can also use meditation to search for the truth. Simply focus on a problem and sit with it for a little while. Think about it, then don't think about it, and wait for a solution to float to the top. When you calm your mind and you get rid of that rambling chatter, the solution will usually come to the top. And if not, what will happen is, if you give it a period of rest, your unconscious will work on it in the meantime, and it'll float to the top naturally. It'll just come to you later in the day. You can also use it to search for the truth, which means looking at things. I call this the diamond philosophy. Basically what you're doing is you're looking at everything from different angles. To understand a diamond, you have to look at it from every angle, because every which way you turn it, it looks different. That's the diamond philosophy. So what you're doing as you're meditating is you're slowly looking at the problem from all different angles. When you think normally in your mind, it's so chaotic, it's going so fast, you tend to look at it 3 or 4 different ways, and then when you get done with that, you go back and you look at the same 3 or 4 different ways again and again and again and again and again. But there may be 20 different ways that only when you slow down your mind can you see it. This is why most intelligent people, they figure out all their problems on paper. You know why? Because they will write down the first thing, the second thing, the third thing, and the fourth thing. Then they'll say, okay, they'll write down number 5, 6, and 7, and then they'll fill those in. And they won't write anything that was down on 1, 2, 3, and 4. They will think beyond their normal level of thinking by writing it down, seeing it, and moving beyond it. That's where the real solution is. If the real solution was in the first 4 things that came to your mind, you'd have had it days, months, or years ago. It's somewhere farther down the list. These are the things that we can do when we clear our mind. Now, you can also use meditation to heal yourself, mentally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. Healing works by simply meditating on the area that you want to heal. And you just imagine some kind of sensation like a tingling or a warmth or a heaviness or, a ball of energy wherever this area is. Any little sensation you can get in that area, and you just focus on that and imagine that. And what that does is, it sounds like this weird mystical thing, but really what you're doing is mentally, consciously, and later unconsciously, because this is seeping down to the unconscious, you're getting your body to focus on a given area. And when you stop doing the meditation, especially if you tell yourself that this is going to continue to heal, it'll heal for a few hours later, a few days later, usually not more than a few days. And by drawing the attention to this area, that's what heals it. Almost the same way acupuncture works. Now I'm going to give you a very simplistic idea of how acupuncture works, and this is only one way in which it works. But by putting the needles in a given area, usually around the wounded area, those little tiny pin pricks bring attention to that area, and then your body puts its healing resources there because attention has been drawn to it. Very simple. So that's all mental and physical healing is. So the next thing you can do with meditation is removing illusions. As you think about something, use that diamond philosophy and start looking at it from different angles and asking yourself, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Man, that will cut right through the illusions. An illusion cannot withstand the light of sustained thinking combined with truth, that you'll only accept the truth. So say, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? And don't kid yourself. That's darkness. The light of sustained truth. You'll beat all the illusions. And if you're not sure, say, hey, I'm not sure. And put a question mark on it and wait. Now, meditation is also how we deprogram ourselves. And I didn't put it on the slide here, but it's also how you can reprogram yourself. You can deprogram yourself by saying, is it true? Deciding it isn't. And then the next thing to do is decide how many different ways that isn't true, because that will counteract that negative thought, that negative and false belief, until it's destroyed. Figure out how many different ways this isn't true. Not only is it not true, it's not true because of this and this and this and this. Just stack it and stack it and stack it until it's crushed under the weight of truth. Squash it like a grape. Then sweep it away and say, okay, what would I like that's good, kind, loving, and positive that I can install instead of that thing? What's going to be my new positive belief or habit? And install that. And then I want you to do the same thing. Support it instead of crush it. Give it a foundation. It's true and it's helpful and it's healing because of this and this and this and this. The more supports, the more legs you put under it, just like a table, the more legs you put under it, the stronger it's going to get. So that's how you deprogram yourself and reprogram yourself. Letting go of old pain is simply meditating on something that's been bothering you, realizing that you shouldn't be holding on to this, letting it go, and simply stating to yourself, I no longer feel the need for this pain in my life. I'm willing to let it go. I'm letting it go now. I no longer feel the need for this pain in my life. I'm willing to let it go. I let go of it now. Simple. Meditation, this is what most people love about meditation, is it's a way to increase your awareness. You're going to start noticing the warmth of your body, the air moving in the room, you're breathing in and out. You're going to feel like you can feel a leaf falling out of a tree at 30 feet behind you. You will just increase your awareness. Why? Because when you cut down the chatter of your brain, your body has a lot of sensory awareness that, because there's all this activity and chattering going on, is covered up. When you remove that, when you quiet it down, it's almost like if you had a stereo blasting and then you turn it down, turn it down, turn it down. When you finally shut it off, you're going to hear the refrigerator running in the background. Say, boy, I never heard that before. You're going to hear the faucets that's dripping. When the mailman comes, you're going to hear the box squeak up and down, which you never heard before. You're going to hear the house settling. You're going to hear your stomach growling. You're going to hear a lot of different things you never heard before. So it definitely increases awareness. And there's many ways it increases awareness beyond that, but that's a start. That gives you a sense of it. You're also able to enhance your gifts. Remember we said you can program and deprogram yourself? If you want to enhance your gifts, You can take any area that you want more confidence in, more certainty in, more clarity in, to feel better about, and simply tell yourself, hey, I'm doing better in these areas. These are my gifts. Focus on being kind, on being loving, on your memory, anything that you'll want to enhance, your physical capacity. And just tell yourself, basically like Amelia, I think it was Frome, if I'm pronouncing it right, the French philosopher, he said, he had a simple chant he did. He said, in every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Then you repeat, every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. And then just insert, I'm getting better and better at. Okay? That's another way to enhance your gifts. Of course, you can always enjoy the serenity. And you can also have a spiritual experience. If you relax, you calm your mind, you focus on your breathing, you're going to go into like a flow state, almost like a runner's high. And it's from the simple act of doing nothing. You're going to have such a sense of peace and serenity and calm. All of a sudden, it's going to surge through your body. And if you don't think, it'll stay. But you know what most people do? They get it and they have this wonderful, spiritual, tingly feeling. And then they go, oh my God, I'm having a spiritual experience. And the talking, saying, oh my God, I'm having a spiritual experience, cuts it out. After doing that 2 or 3 times, they, damn, I finally got to it. And 2 seconds later, it's gone. The minute you start talking again, it goes away. So get to that place, hold it, and try not to think. Just go deeper into it. I hope that was helpful. Now, moving meditation. This is when you take it to a next level. When you get good at what's called zazen, or sitting meditation, now you can do moving meditation, where you can meditate every movement. Going for a walk is like a form of moving meditation. There's some monks, this is the only form of meditation they do. Remember I said, breathe in 1, 2, 3, breathe out 1, 2, 3. What they do is they think step, 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 step. Very repetitive, very calming. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. It's the ultimate in meditation. Watch the Tai Chi people. The fluidness of the meditation. They're not even concentrating on what they're doing. The meditation, the movements are reflexive. They're concentrating on how relaxing it feels in their body. They're feeling the muscles move. They're enjoying the relaxation of it. That's moving meditation. Now, the next thing that's very, very freeing is letting go of all judgment. Judgment is what holds you down. Judgment is what hurts you. Judgment is like holding a resentment. We have to let go of all judgments, and we will be enlightened. We will be lightened to the burden of judgments. So, who do we judge? And I basically listed the major areas of areas that we judge in, which is we judge ourselves, we judge others, we judge situations that are happening in our life, we judge life itself and our life, which means our history, and we judge the past, and we judge the future. These are the key areas to look out for and to let go. Why would you ever negatively judge yourself? That's you hurting you. That's you beating yourself over the head with a hammer. We say, well, it doesn't matter if I judge other people. No, you're thinking about somebody else. You're being judgmental, which means it probably isn't true, which goes against the Zen philosophy of only saying things that are true. And you're focusing on the negative. So what type of state are you putting yourself in? Even if I think something negative about myself, I go into a negative state, which is what? Hello, it's negative. If I think of somebody else, and it's a negative thing, but it's not about me, it's about them, so I think it's separate from me. How do I feel while I'm thinking that negative thing about them? You're right, you feel negative. It's no different. It feels a little better, but not much, not much. Same thing when you think about a situation, you let that make you feel bad. You say, well, you got to think about the situations in your life. No, you have to solve some of them, but you don't have to feel bad about them. You can feel great about the solution instead of focusing on the problem. But just don't judge. Let it go. Let it go. Whenever you catch yourself judging, let it go. Now here's another great Zen philosophy. Everything I am experiencing reflects myself. I didn't quite understand what this meant at first, but what it literally means is that the experience you're having in life isn't based on the things that are happening in your life so much as what's happening inside of you. Say I gave a bag of money to one of my friends, and I gave a bag of money to another one of my friends. Say it's like $10,000. One friend thinks, hey, this is awesome. I just got a free $10,000. And he's happy and he's ecstatic. That's one way of looking at it. So the fact that he's happy tells me a lot about him. You'd say the $10,000 made him happy, but what he really did is he gave himself permission to be happy because he saw the $10,000. One of his rules is if you ever get $10,000, feel happy. It's a program he's running. So the experience tells me what his rules and beliefs are. I give the other person the $10,000. He's thinking, what's Paul trying to pull here? I suppose I'm going to owe him something for this. Well, you know the government's going to come and they're going to take at least 60% of this. There's a gift tax, you know? Or there's going to be an inheritance tax. Where am I going to put this money? Somebody's going to steal it, you know? I'm so sick of the wife, I'm probably going to leave her next month. She's going to take half. All these things are going through their mind. It has nothing to do with the money. The money, like any other circumstance in your life, is something that triggers you to be more of what you are. So what's happening is, this is life's experiment. It puts you in a situation, and then it's not even the situation. The situation is simply a trigger, and you begin exposing who you are through your reactions. Remember I said the old Zen belief is people are always perfectly being who they are, and therefore they will react to any given situation, not based on the situation itself, but based on who they are. So remember this philosophy. Everything I am experiencing reflects myself. I remember there was a patient of mine, he said he went to this meeting, and there was a guy who started giving him hell after the meeting. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And the guy was being cool about it, and he let the guy talk, and he said, well, you know, it's an AA meeting, so only sick people come here, you know. Okay, so I'll let the guy go on. He's probably new in recovery or something. And he finally let the guy go until he finished, and he turned to the guy and he said, what is it about me that reminds you of you, that pisses you off so much? And what does that mean? So what did that mean? It meant the guy had never met my friend before, but because he thought he was acting a certain way or saying a certain thing or doing a certain something, that he should be mad about this. It's almost like, let me give you another example. Say I'm a liar and somebody says something to me. What am I going to think they're doing? I'm going to think they're lying about that thing. Why? Not because they're a liar, but because I'm a liar. In our minds, we're always projecting on other people. They do things for the same reasons we would do things. And you know what? That isn't true. There's an infinite number of ways they could do those things, and there's an infinite number of reasons why they would do those things. But we tend to look at it through our lens. So our reality tends to reflect us, not actual reality. This is one of the areas where we're living in a virtual reality, not true reality, because we have so many filters in place. And the biggest one is what? That ego. That story of who we are and all these belief systems, tens of thousands of them piling on. How could you ever see reality through that whole mess? So reality is literally reflecting you, not reality. When you can get you out of the way, then you see true reality. Now the next philosophy, and I absolutely love this one, is we have no friends, we have no enemies, only teachers. So there's some people that are going to help us out, and that helps us. There's some people that are going to knock us on our butt, and that helps us too. I used to think, well, there should only be nice people, because nice people are nice, and that's the way to be. And if you're a bad person, you're evil, that's wrong, and there should be all these evil people, you know. And when I was a little kid, I told my mom this. I said, why there's so many damn mean people? Don't they get it? And why, it's horrible that we have these negative people. And she said, no, Paul, you don't understand. You need the positive people in your life to show you the right thing to do. But there's two things you got to know in life: the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. These negative people, these people you call your enemies, are the ones that teach you what not to do. So if you know what to do, and what not to do, you're going to have a wonderful life. And each of them are what? Your teachers. You need both. If you only had one or the other, oh, you'd be nice like your friends and you'd do all kinds of right things. But here's what you'd also do. You'd do all kinds of wrong things because you didn't know any better. You know? When you say something it's kind of mean or sarcastic or short or quick, if a mean person has done that to you and you know how that feels, you don't do it to other people. But if you haven't had the gift of that mean person in your life, you'll do it to other people and think nothing of it. You'll never know you're doing anything wrong. You say, why did they get so upset at that? I meant them to feel loved by that. We need both. These people are teaching us. Next, we need to lose the control, the need to control anyone or anything. You simply walk your path. Get over your need to control things. Let it go. You don't have to control things. I plan things, I set them up, I set them in motion, and then I don't need to control it outside of that. Whatever happens, happens. I'll adjust later, but I can't keep grinding and twisting and pounding on something and trying to control every single little nuance. It'll consume my mind. I look at a problem, I solve a problem, I take my best action, and then I leave it up to the universe. Here's what's going to happen. And then I'll make a second or third response if I need to. But I don't have to try to grind in and get this control. I let things go. And a lot of times, your anger, your frustration is when you're trying to control other people. That's a need for control that you need to let go of. People can barely control themselves. You ever seen somebody on a diet? Like 95% of people will fail. Why? Because they can't do what should be the easiest thing in the whole world, controlling yourself. But they'll try to manipulate their friends, their children, the government, society as a whole. They want to be in control of everything, and they can't even control themselves. Well, you should quit smoking. Well, look down at your belly. You should quit eating. Or at least so much, right? You know, have you ever had an apple instead of a cheeseburger? Okay. Learn to control yourself, and you won't need to control anything outside yourself. Let it all go. Don't try to control the government. You come back 100 years from now, the government's going to be about the same. You don't try to control society. You come back about 100 years from now, it's going to be about the same. Okay? Let it go. Most of these things will be the same whether you touch them or not. So letting go of the need to control actually gives you control. It frees up your ability to control the one thing you can control, which is what? You. And if you control that, 99% of everything else doesn't matter. And that 1% that you were trying so desperately to control, that was taking like 90% of your energy to try to control, half the time you could control it, but that's only 0.5% benefit. And the other half, no matter how hard you tried, if you gave 100% of your focus, it was going to come out exactly the same. Let go of the need to control. Now, finally, for this section, one little great technique: say yes to life, okay? And see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you. Simply say, my life is going to be good. My life is going to be good. I want to take in the whole of life. I want to enjoy life. I'll tell you how I make money on the internet. I have a very simple philosophy. I just help people all day long. And I don't focus on the best marketing technique. I don't focus on what's the most popular thing to talk about or to do. I simply teach and train and help people. And I know if I do enough of that, the income will come my way. So I say yes to life, and I say no to trying to be targeted and trying to play to an audience and play to a market and play to a medium. I don't want to do any of that. I want to focus on the joy of what I'm doing in my life, which is helping people, and enjoying the process of that, enjoying the looks on people's faces, hearing the feedback, and just knowing as I'm sending it out into the universe that's going to be doing some good. I want to focus on that. I don't focus on my day and say, oh, you got to do this recording today, you got to, blast this stuff out on the internet today, and you got to do that. I don't focus on any of the work. I don't work during the day. I create things that help other people, and I send them out into the universe. That's saying yes to life. That's enjoying life. Whatever you're doing, focus on the positive part of it. Focus on all the good things that are coming to you in life. From a Zen philosophy, they love all the emotions. Even when there's something negative going on, they say, oh my God, that is so depressing. and they say, boy, I haven't enjoyed a really good depression for a while. And they get really deep into it. They get down, 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 deep depressed about it. And you say, that's not mental control. Yes, it is, because 15 minutes later, they're going to have totally burned out that emotion, totally experienced, totally had it, the richness, the deepness, and the depth of that depression. And then they're going to let it go. And they're going to enjoy this wonderful rise as they come back out of it. And they're going to say, man, that was good. They enjoy the depression just like you enjoy a movie that makes you cry. I used to think my mom was the most bizarre person in the entire world. She would want to go to these chick flicks and they would make her cry. And I said, Mom, why'd you pay $8 and another $8 for a bag of popcorn and a soda, $16, to go someplace that made you feel miserable and made you cry? If somebody made my mom cry, I had to pop them right in the nose. She's like, no, 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 I'm just crying because it was such a sad movie, but I love the whole thing. And I'm like, crying equals pain, and she loved it. Crying equals pain, she loved it. I was a little kid, I couldn't get it. But I think you get it. So you can enjoy the up times, you can enjoy the down times. These are all the flavors and colors of life. Enjoy it all. That's what it means to say yes to life. The good, the bad, the indifferent. You know, when I go through hard times, I say, man, this is going to make a good story. This is going to make me feel great about myself when I kick this problem's ass. Okay? So it feels like crap now, and I say, oh my God, this is horrible. This is going to feel so good. Like when somebody steps on your neck and it feels great when they get off. Like when you get a knot in your muscles and then somebody relieves it with a massage. If you don't have the pain, you can't have the joy. You can't be joyful all the time. You'll literally, from a physiological perspective, burn out those neurochemicals. You got to have the ups and the downs and the sideways and the twists. They'll do this to you in movies all the time. They bring you up and down and up and down and up and down. And by the time you leave, you felt fantastic. You did not feel fantastic during that movie because the movie was up, 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 up the whole time. But when you enjoy the whole of the movie and the whole of the experience, this movie called your life, you say yes to life, then you will have that rich experience, just like you did at the movies.